Gregory.
I brought some people with me today, Coach.
Thanks, Russ. I liked it a lot better when it was just me and you. All right. Give Rob and his team, a ton of credit. I thought we did a great job defensively and rebounding-wise in the first half. Probably too many turnovers for us in the first half with 11. But I thought defensively we were really good. Rebounding-wise, we were really good. And that's how we're going to have to compete in games, especially when you play better teams, higher quality teams like Eastern is. And I think they made a concerted effort to do two things against us in the second half. First was go to offensive glass. And although they only had 6 and only had 6 second chance points, they kept possessions alive there. And I thought that was very, very important. And we just didn't do a good enough job of driving gaps in the zone, being able to hit guys underneath the zone. We played on top of it the whole time, and they were super active in it. And we talked about their length in the zone, which is effective. We had 3 or 4 shots at the rim where because of their length they were able to still get to. But it's very similar to our 2 other losses. Is we're going to struggle at times offensively to put the ball in the basket. Some of that is personnel driven. Some of that is just because of all the newness and different things like that. And sometimes we just don't shoot the ball well, and that's going to happen. So the thing we have to do is we got to hang our hat on the defensive end and the rebounding, sharing the basketball. Again, we had 14 baskets, which isn't a lot, but we had 13 assists on that. So when we do share the ball and move it, we're effective. But with the 16 turnovers and 4-17 from the 3, you're going to have to make some threes against them, or you got to have some guys inside that are really, really aggressive and can go get the ball and make some plays. And we didn't have either one of those today. And give them. That's a really good team. He's assembled an excellent team with 4 juniors and a senior, with Thompson inside. Obviously, some older guys that have sat out and transferred, so even those juniors are a little older. Jackson's a dynamic point guard. Obviously, Minis didn't shoot the ball. I thought we did a good job on him. But the one thing he did then from the zone is, again, this is another thing, especially our young guys who are going to be around here, got to learn it. If you're not making shots, how are you impacting the game in other areas? And Mini, we did a good job on Mini. But he still gets to the free throw line 4 times. He gets 7 defensive rebounds for him and ignited a couple fast breaks with that. Ellison was 0 for 5 from the 3 heading into today. Yeah, hadn't scratched from the 3. But every time we watch him on film, he does a lot of good things. He plays hard. Now all of a sudden today, he impacts the game by making some threes and having 3 assists and no turnovers. So, we need to, again, you take bits and pieces from games, and hopefully we'll learn from some of that.
Coach, I know you know the saying, ball moves the zone. Did you get the kind of ball movement you wanted today?
Not as much as you'd like. You know what I mean? Not as much as you like. You got to be assertive with the ball. We are tentative with the ball. It's always 2 people. It's not just the guy with the ball. It's the guy who the ball is being delivered to. Is he getting into the correct position? Is he flashing hard and meeting passes? I think maybe the 11 turnovers in the first half with some of those that on passes underneath the zone. The last 2 games, obviously a much different zone that we faced, but we were able to get the ball inside, and we have to do that. And maybe we grew a little tentative in the second half because of some of those passes underneath the zone in the first half weren't completed or led to turnovers. So we didn't attack it well, but to be honest, that would be taking away credit from their defensive effort. Sometimes we're a pretty good defensive team. We weren't in the second half today, but sometimes it's just better defense case.
guys had about a 12-board advantage. Are they doing anything defensively down low aside from that zone differently to kind of adjust to that?
Did you say that again now?
Eastern Michigan, you guys.
Yeah, we were up in the rebounding wise. Yeah, they were going. We weren't physical enough in the second half on the glass. We weren't. Terrence I think had 7 defensive rebounds for us, but we don't have anybody else with more than 3. And so our Malik had 4 defensive rebounds. But David Collins had 3 and Terrence had 7. So our leading rebounder and second leading rebounder are our two guards. That's not good. You know what I mean? We have to play with much more physicality around the basket. And again, they only got 8, but they got 6 offensive rebounds in the second half. I don't know how many offensive rebounds we had in the first half. But, another thing is we had 13 offensive rebounds and only had 10 second chance points. When you get 13 offensive rebounds, you got to have 15, 16, 17 second chance points. So we're getting those, but we're not converting on those. And that's where their length comes into play a little bit. We had 3 or 4 shots at the rim where it looked like we were open, ready to score, and they were able to make some plays. But again, the turnover is going to be a big key for that. They outscored us by 4 at the free throw line, and then the rebounding piece.
And then to that same report, Isaiah 4 fouls, 8 minutes. Was that just trying to do a little bit too much physically?
Well, a little bit. I did 2 of the post fouls were just because he was caught out of position. The one thing with him is everybody's got to realize he's played the last 2 full seasons. So last season and the season before that at Texas Tech, he's played 63 minutes of basketball. You know what I mean? Shoot, that's a game and a half in 2 years. So it's gonna take a while, and hopefully, between now and conference with 2 road games and the rest at home with some more practice and so forth. Now that he's playing and he's going to be in the rotation, I believe that hopefully some of that rust will wear off.
I know these are young kids in the best shape of their lives, but it was your 3rd game in 5 days against a very good defensive team. That have any effect?
They've played the same amount, Joe.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Now this was our 4th game in 7 days. We played Sunday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. So maybe a little bit, but we talked about being mentally tough. We talked about they played on Friday night, they played on Friday night on the road, had a fly here, all that stuff. So that would be an excuse. And during this process of building our program, we're going to try to stay away from those. Legitimate, but we're still going to stay away from them.
I agree.
Anything else? All right.
All right, guys, thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.